Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Please ignore my absence. I always say it on here, but I upload a video and then I could go like 2 months without uploading again, so I do apologize. But on the brighter side of things, I am no longer pregnant, which I'm a bit like about. No word of a lie, I actually missed my bump and I didn't think I'd be saying that. But yeah, I'm no longer pregnant. I've recently had my baby boy. He's just over a week old now and he is the most beautiful little baby that I've ever laid my two eyes on. A lot of you over on Instagram have been asking me questions, so I thought it was only fair to do a video and share some of the labour/delivery goss with you all. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to keep this video as raw, as sweet as possible. I don't want to go too much in depth and I don't want it to be too long either. So in today's video I will be answering a couple of your questions and then I'll take it over to Instagram again if you want to know anything else. So if you're not following me, do follow me. It's Nikki Hearty. So yeah, go over now and give me a follow. So we're going to get stuck in. I've just made myself a cup of coffee. Like, I was craving coffee, literally, like a latte, but yeah. So good. It was well and truly needed. Like, my routine has changed so much lately. Having 2 kids, like, I'm going to be talking more of that over on Instagram and everything else that comes with motherhood. So do be sure to be following me and I'm going to follow a few of you back as well. So the first question was it painful? Now these are all like scattered everywhere. They're not in order or anything and I'm not going to be revealing any names. But yeah, I have some here and then I have another batch as well. Like, there's like so much. Yeah. But anyways, we're going to get right stuck in. Of course it was painful. So it was actually very traumatic, my labour. I'm not going to go too much more into it because the questions are very random and I want to mention how I brought my baby into the world. So yeah, it was very painful and I felt literally everything and it's something you kind of live with. And I think as well the second time round when you have a baby, you know what to expect, so that makes it very much even more traumatizing and difficult. But look, we have our bodies to go through that. We're women, like, and we bring our babies into the world. Like, that's what we gotta do. Our bodies do that, you know. So yeah, we're all meant to do that and it's so worth it. Like, I could do it. I complain so much about how sore and traumatic it was, but I do it over like 100 times again and again and again, like in a heartbeat. So yeah, so it was painful. If you're hearing a little man in the corner here, this is going to be my new life of hearing a baby literally cooing, whinging, you name it. So get used to it, guys. Who did you think it was harder to have, Santana, Caitlin, or the new baby? So I mentioned his name, but yeah, I'm going to share that in a minute. To be honest with you, both labours, like deliveries, were different. Like, it was very much different with the time limit as well, like the duration of like how long I was in labour and so on. With Santana Caitlin, I was in labour, like I was contracting for 9.5 hours like before I had her, and that meant that the contractions were miles apart and I wasn't in too much pain like as frequent. But with this delivery and labour, like my baby boy's contractions, which I was feeling, were very, very close. Like, they were like 2 minutes apart. So yeah, it was very different. And like, even though with this little baby there was like contractions close within minutes, it was very much like very, very painful, as in to the point like I felt pain constant, if you get me. But yeah, what was different about labour this time around? Okay, this time around, again, like I mentioned, I literally had contractions faster, minutes apart, which made it very, very painful. And yeah, I literally had no peace. Like, I was contracting minutes apart, like 1-2 minutes. And I think this time round what made it different was the fact that with Santana Caitlin's labour, I hated the gas. I kept leaving my gas down and I had it in my head, with this baby I'm gonna literally eat the gas, like in the air. Like, I'm gonna take it as it's given to me, you know, and I'm not gonna leave it down like only when needed to. So that's what would have been different, I think, along the lines of that, and the contraction duration, like, of both labours. So yeah. Did you get the epidural? You're probably all wondering, how did it go, like, with pain relief wise, like on Instagram especially. A lot of you have asked, and I've kept it for this video. So I actually surprisingly done it without the epidural. I cannot believe I've done it again, not once but twice now, without an epidural. Like, I do not know how I'm cut out for this. You would have seen over on Instagram and TikTok, I'm constantly raving on about wanting the epidural this time round over having like 9.5 hours of labour with Santana Catlin, and it was like so bad. Like, I felt everything. I didn't get a chance to have the epidural then because she just came, like, she came and I wanted it, but it was too late. Like, they had it hooked up and everything, whatever way they do it, and I just couldn't get it because it was, yeah, I just started pushing basically, and I was told not to push, but your body knows when to push. Like, I've seen that as well. Like, this time round, like, I knew when to push my son out. It's so weird, like, how your body works. But yeah, the epidural, I didn't get it with my son. I'm very proud of myself, to be honest, because for someone that was raving on so much about it, like, I need epidural, I won't be doing it without the epidural, I can't do this, like, I need something now. And especially with how close my contractions was, like, I definitely feel very proud of myself, and I don't know, I just feel like how me, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, epidural wasn't the case at all in this delivery either. And the reason being for that was they actually asked me, did I want the epidural? And I was like, yeah. At first I was like, yeah, and then they were like, there was 2 midwives there and my partner, and he literally, let me tell you, okay, with the pain was so surreal, like, and they were like, Nicole, we don't think you need the epidural. And I was like, you know, at that point I was like, do I get it, do I not? I was like, I leave it up to you. Like, I was in constant pain and I was in the delivery room, and I was like, I leave it up to you because they're the midwives. And then my partner in there, while we were in there, he was like, get it, because he could see that I was in pain and he knew that I wanted it. But they, like, he didn't want to see me suffering anymore, if you get me. So they were like, okay, so basically, and then out of nowhere, Nikki was like, I need to push. So they were like, Nicole, we don't know, like, when you need to push. So basically, like, they could tell that, like, when I had said that, like, I needed to push. And oh, it took a while, I'm not gonna lie. When I was pushing, this is very in-depth, like, I to be honest with you, with Santana Catlin, it was a lot easier to push her rather than this baby. I find with this baby, like, it was a lot of pressure. Sorry guys if I'm a bit over the top. With this baby, it was a lot of pressure, and literally he took the gut out of me, like. But yeah, once he was out, it was like a miracle. I was like, Jesus Christ, this was so worth it, and the pain just goes automatically, like, so it's so worth it. So yeah, I did not have the epidural, and I will mention what pain relief I had, because I don't think I got a question. Maybe I did, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't have any epidural, and I didn't have any medication whatsoever, no pain relief. All I had was gas and air, and that was it. And I literally, like, flew through it, even though I felt everything. But yeah, I feel like Wonder Woman. Like, I didn't even have a painkiller. With Santana Catlin, I had gas, air, but I kept leaving it down, which I shouldn't have, because it kept making me sick while I was giving birth to my daughter. So I left it down a lot of the time. What was Santana Catlin's reaction to seeing her new baby brother for the first time? You know what, I have a little video on my phone. I didn't actually get to vlog, it just happened so fast, like, with the whole delivery thing. I think when you're in pain as well, you don't really want to show that side, you're very vulnerable. But I do have a video of, like, going back out home, like, to my parents' house, and home I call it, like my own home, but you get me. That's where she was, like, because my partner was in with me, and then when he left, then he'd take her over. But yeah, there was a snippet. If I can include it in this video, I will, but if not, you'll see it again eventually, hopefully. Her reaction was actually priceless. Like, it was so beautiful. Like, to put into words, it was so beautiful. I'd love to include it, but it's actually on my phone, so I'm going to try and work a way around that. She lit up a smile on her face when she seen her baby brother that I've never seen on my child in my life. Like, this smile was like, I was like, oh my god, and it melted my heart. And she's so overprotective of him. She loves him. Like, the way she carries on with him, like the way she be talking to him, like little brother, like it's the cutest thing ever. I'm gonna be like sharing so much more after this video, so be sure to be following the Insta, because that's where everything baby is. Like, I'm always uploading on there. Does he have a middle name? Please covered name. So yeah, of course, everything here is private, so no names are revealed. I wanted a middle name for him, but Santana Catlin doesn't have a middle name. I just called her Santana Catlin, like, all in one. It's a double barrel name. Now, I wanted a middle name if I had chosen another name, but I've chosen not to go with a middle name. But he will be christened, like, with a name that is like someone in family. Like, basically we're going to add in another name, if you get me where I'm coming from, someone that has passed. So we're going to give someone's name that's passed as his christening name. How is Jimmy doing so far? So someone asked how is he doing. He is doing amazingly. He's actually ready to wake up. He's doing so well. He's thriving so well. At birth he was 6'2", 6 pounds 2 ounces, and the midwife was out a couple of days ago, and now he's 5'15". So I'm hoping when she comes out this week that he has increased a bit of weight again, hopefully. But yeah, he's the best little baby. All he wants is his Bobby, and he's so sleepy, and I'm so blessed with him. Like, literally, he's my absolute world. Like, I don't know what I've done I don't know what I've done with my life without him, because he's just my little buddy now. Like, he's just there with me. He's so, like, he's the best company in the world. Someone said, was having your second way worse than your first baby? So I wouldn't say way worse, but again, I really cannot compare them, because they were both very dramatic, very painful, and similar in a way, because I didn't have an epidural. But the only thing that I can really say is the contractions were minutes apart, rather than with Santana Catlin's, like I said, hers were spread out, but with his, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and I was feeling everything. So I really can't say which was worse. And as well as that, Santana Catlin was easier to push out. He was harder to push out. So yeah, I don't know. It's almost like it was really, really, really hard with him. I don't know whether to say harder, because it wasn't as long as the labour with my daughter. So I don't know, they're very different. Was it a normal birth or section forceps or anything like that? Congrats, thank you so much. So I'm just going to answer the section and the forceps one here. So I wasn't sectioned, and I didn't need to be sectioned. It was never put to me. And the forceps, no, I pushed him completely out myself. First the head, then the little body was pushed out all by myself. So no, he wasn't, like, I wasn't given any help or anything. Are you bottle feeding? Yes, I am bottle feeding my baby. I think it's amazing. Breastfeeding is something that I'm very, like, inspired by, to be honest. I think it's amazing. I think, like, women's bodies are something else. Like, if you're a mother, you know it even more. Like, it's just crazy, like, what comes out of your body, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously now, like, I have pads on and everything over the breast milk, whatever it's called, callus, I don't even know, I'm not going into that. But yeah, a company did reach out to me not long ago before I had my son. They asked would I like to collaborate, and they offer pumps. I'm not saying I wouldn't breastfeed in the future, because if my baby was needing that extra, like, whatever, like they say, breast milk is better than formula, which I think once the baby fed is a happy baby, a healthy baby, do you know what I mean? But I do think women that do breastfeed, like, they are amazing, just as a mother that bottle feeds their baby. But I have thought of, like, pumping, but I just didn't bother, to be honest. But fair play to the mummies that do breastfeed, because I can assure you it's not one bit easy. But I have stuck to bottle feeding my baby, and at the minute he's on SMA formula, so that's what he's on. If you wanted to know that, I don't know, I just thought I'd add that in. What was your birth plan? Were you scared? So my birth plan, I had the baby, and, like, when I had him, I had to be in the clinic 2 days later to discuss my birth plan, which was really strange. But I didn't get around to, once again, I didn't get around to discussing it with the midwives. But my birth plan, I actually wanted to discuss if I had the chance to have a water birth. I put that up on Instagram as well, and a lot of you were like, it's free under the HSE. You just basically, someone did say you had to, as long as you didn't have the epidural on your first, then you can get it. So yeah, I didn't get around to having a water birth, but I'm not going to complain with the birth that I did have, because you know, I'm healthy, my baby's healthy, he's out, and there was no complications. So yeah, if I had have chosen a birth plan, it would have been a water birth 100%, because I had experience like giving birth natural on a bed already, and if I had to have him like my baby natural, a water birth would have been like beautiful. I don't know, I just think it would have been really nice. Recommendations, tips for first time mums. So obviously, you know, me being a mummy now after my daughter is nearly 5 in September, it's adjusting to it again and getting the swing of things and everything like that. It's very new to me, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I had him, I forgot to even make a bottle. Like I had to ask the midwives. That's me being straight up about it. Like I forgot if you added the formula first or the water first. That's where I got the confusion from. But obviously I'm aware now. Like I was literally like sleep deprived for days as well, and I just felt like, oh, I'm not myself, I don't know what I'm doing. But I feel more intact now. Go with your gut, like literally. Like go with, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Like stick it out. Take all the pain relief provided. If you want to go, like if you want pain relief, it's not a crime to do so. Like women that go without epidurals or pain relief, it's basically mainly down to the baby himself coming, he or she coming too fast. So yeah, do take your pain relief, because it will make your labour so much more smooth. And as well as that, don't be worried about the labour. If you're going in to have your first baby, do not worry about a thing, because I've always said it, it's the unexpected. And with your first, you don't know what's to go down like, so don't be too concerned or bothered, like, or nervous. I was more nervous this time round than I was with Santana Catlin. Other tips that I can give is literally don't be nervous about even bringing the baby home from the hospital and being all nervous and this and that. Motherhood grows natural. When that baby is placed in your hands, like you are, like literally, like you are that person to know best for your child. You're going to know what's right from wrong. So yeah, don't think too far ahead. Becoming a first time mommy especially, like such as now, I'm like, obviously I have struggled a bit with the Bobby side of things, straight up, but I know what to do with him. Like I just feel like he's my child, he's my priority. No one can tell me any different, if you get me. So yeah, just wing it and enjoy it and take it all in, because they don't stay small for long. And don't even worry too much about that labour, because you will get through it, I promise. How long were you in labour for? So I actually have like the full, I literally wrote in my notes. One minute now, I'm going to go back on this. I haven't looked at this in over a week, but I wrote it down on my notes. So I started contracting at about 10:30 at night, 11:15, along the lines of those times. And then my baby was born at 1:17 a.m. on the 2nd of May. So what is that? That is like 2 hours basically of labour. That is amazing. But let me tell you, those contractions were 2 minutes apart to 1 minute apart, and I felt everything, and I'm trauma. But we move. I have my beautiful son now, and he was worth all the pain in the world. I'm besotted with him, like I'm obsessed. And yeah, that's basically it. My labour was like 2 hours. And I remember when I started contracting, I was literally going around the apartment. I was like, I think I'm in labour. Like I was like that to my partner, and I was literally like feeling all this pain. And I was in the shower, I was moving about, getting all my bags ready. I had to take my daughter, like again, it was like 11 o'clock at that point. Again, we left the apartment a bit after, and like my daughter, we had to bring her to my mother's house, we had to grab everything. And I have it to say, if I had stayed and like another hour at home, like after that the pains came on, I would have had my baby at home. That's how fast he came. So when you hear like, oh yeah, do this, do that, like before you go into the hospital, because you know, you could be hours in the hospital, don't necessarily go about that either, because I was one of them people. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have time to have a shower now, I'm gonna have time to do this and that. But really, thinking back now, how fast he literally would have been born in my home, like if I hadn't have gone in faster. And what other questions have we? I don't want to make this video too long because it's 20 minutes already. Who was with you while you were giving birth? So my partner was with me when I gave birth to our beautiful little son, and I have to say he was in with me the first time and the second time, and he was amazing. Like he got me through it. Like I know I was the one pushing and this and that, but with him not being there, like I don't think I could have done it without him. He like forced, like he pushed me to be like, come on Nikki, like push. Like when I was pushing the baby, he was like very helpful as well. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but he really helped me like bring on like my labour and get the baby, like not get him out obviously, but he was there to cut the cord, and he was there supporting me and making sure I was okay with the gas, and when to leave it down, because with the gas, like if you're not contracting, they say leave it down, because when the contraction comes, it's like, yeah, it won't be much help. But I didn't even want to leave the gas down. I took it that much. But yeah, he was amazing. My partner was in with me, and yeah, I'm so glad. I wouldn't bring a woman in with me. I've said it, like my mother wanted to come in, like she was like, you know, if you want, I'll come in with you. Like I had sisters that would have come in as well, but I think it was his place to be there. It's just me. I just think it's a man's place to be there, your partner. And then I'm gonna finish up here. It's not easy. Nothing is easy in life, let's be real here. And when I look at him now, I'm like, I do that again and again and again for him. That is all the questions, guys, that you've sent in. The majority of them, the ones that really stood out to me, like that you're all asking in my inbox about. If you have any more questions, do message me over on Instagram. I'm sure I can do a second part of this video if I did leave out any ones. I have left out a few, but they're not that much important. I just wanted to get these ones out because I'm spammed with your questions on Instagram, but I'm not going to complain. If you got to the end of this video, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. Like the video, subscribe if you're only joining me now, and follow the Instagram, and I shall see you all in my next video. Hopefully my next video on here will be showing off little man. He's currently asleep now, and yeah, I do want to do a big little reveal soon on here for my channel. So yeah.